Hi, and welcome to International Pharmaceutical Abstract Search Basics. This video will cover how to do a search in International Pharmaceutical Abstracts, also known as IPA, and how to use some of the available search filters. You can access IPA from the full database list on the library website. For this tutorial, we will be doing an example search on emerging therapies for multiple sclerosis. One of the most efficient ways of searching a library database is to search each one of your concepts separately and then combine them. I'll demonstrate that now. Our first concept is emerging therapies, which for the search I will actually divide up to make it easier to include alternate terms for each of these words. So first I will search the term emerging, and then an alternate term for that concept, novel. In the search history area, below the search boxes, I will combine these two terms together by checking the box next to each search, then clicking the Search with OR button. This will create a larger set of results. Essentially, I've told the database to look for either emerging or new in the articles. You can see those here in the center of the screen. This is our first search set. S1 or S2 simply refers to Search 1 or Search 2. I searched each one of these terms separately before combining them in order to have more flexibility. If one of these terms turns out to not be very useful, it's easy to remove it from the search if it's separate from the other terms. Another way of searching is to enter the word OR into the search box yourself, rather than using the Search with OR button. I'll demonstrate. So here I have entered the OR myself, and now I'll click Search. This is just a different way to do the same type of search we did for the previous terms. Notice that for these terms I have added an asterisk to the end of each word. In fact, for the therapy term, it is before the end of the word. What this does is tell the database to search for any variation of the word starting where the asterisk is placed. For example, THERAP asterisk will retrieve articles that use the word therapy, therapies, or therapeutic. This technique saves you time by only having to type in one term instead of all the different variations. Now for our last concept, multiple sclerosis. Now we have three search sets, but we need to combine them because we want to make sure that we find articles in which all three concepts are present. I'll check the box next to each search, and now I'm going to click Search with AND. We have about 77 results. At this point, you'll want to look through to make sure you're getting some relevant results. But know that you'll always retrieve some irrelevant results as well. That's just the nature of searching a database. There's no way to only retrieve relevant or useful articles, so you will have to sift through. At this point, you may decide you need to adjust your search, maybe adding additional synonyms or removing some terms. You may decide to only search two concepts because searching three is too specific and you're not retrieving enough. At the top right, you have options for how your results are sorted. IPA defaults to sorting the results by publication year. If you prefer to see the articles that most closely match your search terms at the top, you can change the sort order to relevance. On the left side of the screen are a series of filters we can use to narrow down our results. I'd like to find the most recent literature, so I'm going to limit the publication date. I can do that by dragging the left side of the slider bar to a specific year. I will slide it up to 2010 to see literature from the last 10 years. Using that filter, I now have about 47 results. That's definitely a reasonable number to look through. If at this point you had a larger set of articles still and you wanted to narrow it down even further, you can consider additional limits such as subject or articles about human studies. As you look through your list, if you see an article that you want to read in full, you can click on the Find It button to retrieve the actual article. This button connects you to the library's subscriptions. There will be times when you click Find It and the article is not available online, however. If this happens, you can click the Order a Copy link on that page. This will connect you to the library's Interlibrary Loan Service, which is a free service for students in which will get you the article you need from another library that has it. You'll get an email notifying you when it's ready for you to download. Those are the basics of doing a search in international pharmaceutical abstracts. You can apply these same search principles in most other library databases as well.